Alright guys, what's going on? So we are working on Brandon's Ford RS today. Gonna put on this bad boy. A little bit of sway action.
Yeah, white line front sway bar. It's actually the same diameter as a stock one, but it's a solid bar, it's more rigid, and it's adjustable. So you really get a lot more performance out of it even over the stock bar, which is good. This car really needs a lot of front bar in it. And it has end links and everything in it too, we'll be bolting on.
Right, it tends to get a lot of understeer when you're going kind of slow into a corner. When your initial turn in, it gets a lot of understeer, mostly due to what? Not a lot of negative camber in the front.
Negative camber is one, and also deflection. So when you start loading up, you actually start losing the camber you have. So this will help keep the camber in because it attaches the end link straight to the strut. So that's gonna help, and like I said, we'll be able to adjust it and play with it.
So also I got you a little present, finally. I want to go ahead and get into that. There it is, guys. You can pick one of these up. BlakesGarageMedia.com or Rinchon.com.
Perfect.
It's gonna be official now, man.
Cold weather.
Oh yeah. Help out more builds. Help that E30 track drift car.
Oh, yeah.
Coming soon. Make sure to subscribe, and we're going to get down to it. Let's try this out. First time we've done this too, so be prepared. I'll edit it and make it look like we know what we're doing. So Brandon got some new Petters suspension up in there. You can see these new springs that were installed. These were installed before SEMA. So you guys may have seen this car at SEMA. It was wrapped a little bit differently. If you guys were there, if you had the chance, it was in the Turbo Smart booth and Petters booth.
So first we're going to take off this little skid plate here because we have to access the subframe. So we're probably going to have to actually drop it down because the sway bar sits on top of the subframe and wraps through everything. So we're going to probably drop everything down and then try and weasel it on out. Should be a lot of fun.
Fun stuff. Yeah, and there's only what, like 32 bolts for this thing or something?
Yeah, like something like that, 32 and a half or something. And got a little aggressive on curving the track day.
Nice. Was that little jump?
I don't know if it was myself or Taylor, but you know, whatever.
Oh, right, because this was at, what was that? Super Lap Battle?
Yeah, Super Lap Battle, GTA.
How'd it do?
Did really good. I mean, considering, you know, all we do is have suspension in the car, and he got down to a 202. First time in the car, and I mean, he did really, really good. So, it was a lot of fun.
And that was a button willow, right?
All right.
After you get all those screws undone, then you can just go ahead and remove that thing, put it aside.
Well, I'm about to drop the control arms because these bolts also go to the mount that holds a sway bar by loosening up this rear motor mount and see what else we need to loosen as we go.
So something I wanted to show you guys too is this end link. This thing is kind of ridiculous. It's super, super long. Goes all the way up there to the strut. So we're loosening up this little cross member thing right here, this little support brace. That was what, a 15 millimeter?
Yeah.
15 mil there. So you're just loosening the rear motor mount right now?
Yeah. These ones are bolts with studs on them.
Now that there is the actual control arm.
Yeah, it goes over under the front part. Those are 18 too. So I'm not really sure if you guys can see this, but there are two nuts on the top of this control arm area. This is towards the back of the control arm. So when you're loosening these, you're going to have a wrench on top to keep that from spinning. Don't drop the wrench. Very tight. Yes. All right, so with loosening all that stuff, we got the sway bar loose. So that's good. Some progress. There's a hole, so you can put a really long extension all the way up to the bolt in the subframe there.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think we'll try and leave everything attached and just drop the subframe down a little bit.
So right now we're looking through the control arm, and you can see right up here, wherever the hell my finger is, oh, right there, that is where the bolt is, so you can get an extension all the way through that. So you're pretty much loosening up this whole cross member underneath here, this whole front subframe, right?
Yeah.
And then this little cross brace right here is coming on out.
Yeah, so we can sit there and drop it down. I might take the exhaust mount here for the downpipe off too.
So we're taking the exhaust hanger for the downpipe off right now.
Just unbolting it.
All right, it's gonna give you a little better access.
Yeah, getting everything ready so when we do drop the subframe down, we don't really have anything hanging up on it.
You made up this little extension right here, right?
Uh-huh.
Little ratchet, and we're going right through the control arm, right up into the front subframe to loosen that up.
Yeah, so you're gonna want something to support the subframe, because if you take these out, then obviously it's just gonna drop.
It's gonna fall. Use a jack or something.
You see now, subframe's loose, but now we can lower it.
Cool. See if we can't drop it on our heads.
Yeah, well, I mean, the steering is still all connected.
So here's the new white line sway bar. Looking nice and gray, like they always do. Right here is your adjustment point. So farthest out is actually going to be the softest point, whereas the inside is going to be the stiffest point, and then that's going to be your middle setting. So right now we're trying to do the whole wiggle and jiggle and try to figure out how this thing can come out of here. Doesn't look to be the easiest thing ever.
It's not.
So on this mount here, you'll see that the bolt holes are kind of offset. We noticed that it's going towards, this is the outside of the car, the driver's side. That's the way this offset is. So you're gonna wanna put it back in there that same way.
See, now we're hung on the downpipe.
Trying to get that out without ripping any fingers off. Ooh, there we go.
Yay!
No one was harmed in the making of this sway bar installation.
Sort of.
So the black one is the stock sway bar, and there's the white line sway bar right there. Kind of see the difference in adjustability, but for the most part, like Brandon said before, this is actually the same diameter. I'm not sure if this is a hollow bar or not with the factory, but the white line bar is definitely a lot heavier, so you can tell that either it has a higher tensile strength steel or a different type of steel, and it's definitely going to be a lot stiffer of a bar. These factory bushings are a pain in the ass to get off.
Yeah, this is a really tight fit. If you look at the mount, see the holes are offset. They point to the outside. Now you look at this little nippo, and it's also offset. So it goes in the mount one way. You see the bushing is a little different on the outside than the inside.
Right, and then those white line bushings, those are supposed to be that greaseless technology.
Yeah, greaseless, they got like felt in them.
But still probably grease them up. Never hurts to grease them now, because greasing them later, nope, don't want to do that.
No, because you gotta do the whole job over in a sense.
Yeah. On my Subaru, I used these. I used them without grease. They still squeaked. It could have been the end links. I really lubed up everything, but can't hurt at all.
I gotta make sure that one that got bashed doesn't get bashed again, because it still hurts.
Alright, well I got to loop it around here, so I need to come in. There we go.
So don't be surprised if your pretty sway bar gets nicked up here.
Just a touch.
Just a bit. You'll never see it. It's underneath the car.
And watch your fingers.
There we go. So basically we just slid this in from the back side of the subframe. If you see right there, got the subframe drop down quite a bit. Gotta watch out for your fingers when you do it. Could be a nice one-person job just because you don't want to break your other guy's hand off, but that's up to you.
Now we in.
We in.
We in.
Good stuff.
So now, since we have the room, we put the bushings in, those line up to where we need to go, and then we'll bolt in the little keepers there to keep the mounts from moving around. This, they don't give you any grease, but you want to grease the back side too, because that can make noise.
Right, like the top. This area.
I usually just, I'll grease the mount, so when it goes in there, then that doesn't make noise.
Mm-hmm.
Just put lube on everything.
Just fling it everywhere.
Yeah.
Pretty good at that.
Yeah, lots of practice.
You have to say that. You have to make that sound when you put lube on too.
It's such a tight fit.
There's not a lot of wiggle room in there, huh?
No, and the mounts are so wide that they're really kind of hard to put on.
Still got a finger.
Yep.
So you're working on the passenger side now. Got it all up in there. Looks nice. The rear subframe mounts for the front subframe. Looks like they're pretty solid. There's a bit of rubber in there. I lied. But they are a pretty firm bushing. It's not polyurethane, still rubber. Sparko's here. Now this is official.
You do it. Long time no see. Want some lube? Line everything up, but the control arms will shift a little bit. Just give a little bit of love.
And as always, when you loosen up suspension components, you're going to want to get in alignment afterwards. Probably won't be off by too much, but better safe than sorry for your tires. So we got those lockdowns tightened down right up there. You can barely see them, guys. Sorry if you can't see them, but put them on the inside right here. Bolt this front subframe back in, huh?
Yeah, the rear part of it, we'll bolt it in, and then we can shift the front up and bolt that in. So that way the subframe won't fall. Kind of readjust this and put it in the front.
Cool.
Tilt the front.
All right.
Guess we gotta shift the frame a little bit,
Right.
but so far so good.
Got all those bolted back down. So we got these back in here right now. These will bolt back in. They're for the control arm, but on the front is where that little mount goes. So that's why it has this thread on here.
Good and tight. Good. Click, click.
Sparko, what do you think, dude?
End links going on. Now, white line suggests, to start out, we'll start at the softest setting, which is the farthest away from the mount. So we have this last hole out here.
Right.
And we'll start from there, and then we'll, shake the car down, see how it handles, and then adjust it from there. So, what white line recommends you put these on is you tighten or make these end link as short as possible, because the way it mounts, there's not a whole lot of room. And you'll notice the clearance here. So when we actually put coilovers on, they say about max is about 2.5 degrees before the end link pushes into the body.
Okay.
So either you run less camber or we clearance the body, which we will be doing.
Right.
Washers, they go on the stud side before you put these on.
Which is obviously your side.
Right.
Right. All right, so now we are just mounting back up. This is the downpipe mount. This helps decrease vibrations. Got a little bit of bushing. In there. So what do you think so far?
Well, I mean, on a lift, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's all right. I think the hardest part was getting the bar actually out, because the mounts are so glued onto the bar.
Right.
But once you get that off, then it's pretty smooth sailing going back together. What you want to do is you make sure it's kind of even on both sides where the subframe is. So I just had to shift it over a little bit. I just kind of put my fingers in on both sides, and you can kind of gauge it. But I had to shift it over a little bit too far on one side, it's close to the subframe. So we just push it over a little bit. You just kind of loosen stuff up, shift it, and then we'll tighten down the collars and be golden.
There's some of that beautiful Subaru ringland failure for you. Love it. That's why you buy one of these. Right there. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
tightening down those end links. Got one of the longest bolts ever.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get to the inside of this one. All right, got that little cross member tightened on down. What size were those, 18s?
18s and 15s.
18, 15.
I think that's it, dude.
I think you're good.
I'm just gonna hide and tighten these and make sure the block nut is tight, and then that's it.
So Brandon's got these end links all torqued down on the end. Got to get these jam nuts right here because these are adjustable. If you don't get these tight, they will loosen up and make some cool noises on you. So you don't want to do that. Also, if you guys start to hear any sort of noises, you may want to check your end links, your sway bars, make sure everything's tightened down. Sometimes you do have to grease some of these areas. So you got those stocky all seasons back on?
Yeah, well, I'll put some all seasons on this one. It's still the stock rubber. My R888's pretty much done.
Which is a good thing, right?
Yeah,
Track days.
Yeah. It's expensive, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Track day R888 wheels. Looking a little bit worn.
Was it 8:30?
Probably about 8:30.
10:30. So 2.5 hours.
Not bad.
With filming, with
Yeah.
taking it back apart to adjust it, not too bad.
Not really. Good job.
Yeah. Sweet.
Good stuff. So we're twinsies now. We're all finished up with the install. Got those Blake's Garage sweatshirts on. You guys can go check those out if you want to grab one.
Cozy.
Pick one up for the holiday time. Get one for your
Significant other.
significant other.
Too, yeah.
They have them in girl sizes as well. So that's good.
All donesy.
It's installed. Brandon did a great job.
First time.
Only had to adjust it one time, so
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of adjustment because it is a pretty tight fit with the where the subframe goes, but works out good. Be good to next year to go really track it out. And we got a rear sway bar coming, so we'll do that too.
coilovers coming.
Coilovers, almost ready to go on. Hopefully.
Coilovers are here.
Yeah, some.
They're here. We need some camber plates.
Yes,
So we'll
and
see
I-
what happens with that.
Yeah, because I don't want to put it together and then take it back apart, put camera plates on, which is the whole reason I'm really putting coilovers on in the first place.
Right. Because
So-
there's no front camber adjustment with
No
the factory
camber
suspension,
adjustment.
right?
Yeah, you're stuck about 1.5 degrees, which is nothing for track or autocross use. You really want a lot more.
Right.
So I'll be pushing probably 3.
Get some of that initial turn in a little bit better. Less
Yes.
understeer dialed out.
And have tires actually wear properly, not scrubbing the shoulder off the tire.
Right.
So that'll be good.
Use all that rubber.
Yes.
Be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, right on, guys. I hope you guys like this video. Go ahead and like and share this video, please. It really helps out. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Later, guys. Wrench on. That's one situation. Cool. All right. Oh, it's already dirty. It's already dirty.